Hi, this is Casey Fortune at Fortune Realty, and this is a video about new builds and the pros and cons of them. So if you're in the market to buy any home, I would definitely say this video is worth watching because for most neighborhoods, new builds are definitely an option. And I promise you, if you make it to the end, you'll definitely learn something. So let's jump right in with the cons. And that starts with extra expense like landscaping, fencing, washer and dryer, and refrigerator, even blinds. These are things that most builders are not including in the purchase price. And so this is not going to be in your mortgage. So you do need to make sure you have some cash set aside because these will be purchases after closing and they can be very expensive. Number two, it may be a long time to close. A dirt start right now in the Colorado Springs area can take up to a year, sometimes over a year. And this can be at an extra expense because you may have to find a place to rent while your new home is being built. Number three, closing dates may change. So this can affect you in many different ways. One, if you're moving, renting, movers, all the above. But lately, building supplies have had pretty major delays on closing dates. Also, if your interest rate is locked in for a certain time period, and if you go outside of that time period, then you may be vulnerable to the next interest rate of what's available. And if that's more expensive, then, well, your interest rate just went up. Number four is pricing. It can be frustrating when you see a price online, then realize it doesn't include about $100,000 in upgrades. These can be anything from lot premiums to finished basements, etc. Number five is pressure. This experience can feel like purchasing a car. Oftentimes, you'll hear sales reps saying, if the papers aren't signed today, the price is going up next week, or there's somebody right behind you willing to purchase this home. And honestly, a lot of times they could be right. There is a lot of pressure, and when it comes time to make that decision, you need to move fast, and that can be stressful for some people. Number six, earnest money can be difficult to get refunded if you terminate contract because the contract is structured to protect the builder, not the buyer. As a real estate agent, we are not attorneys, so legally, we're not supposed to advise you in depth about the risk of the contract because that is considered practicing law. Number seven, off-gassing chemicals. If you have a chemical sensitivity, you really need to research this. These chemicals include formaldehyde, which is a type of VOC, volatile organic compound. These chemicals can be released through carpet, glue in the OSB plywood, paint, and even flooring in new homes. I do have some links below in the description for you to review those, and please do. Okay, so there are all your cons. Now let's get into the good stuff and start out with the pros. And number one, no bidding wars. We could almost stop right here. In fact, the last two new build contracts that I signed on with buyers, this was all they needed. I said there's no bidding wars. They're like, done, new build it is, let's get in there. So this is a huge deal in the Colorado Springs market. I hear stories that people have placed 20 to 25 offers before they get one accepted, and that can be absolutely exhausting. Number two, no appraisal gaps with your offer. So in our market, this is really common to submit an appraisal gap. So say you have a house under contract at $500,000 and you offered $550,000 and the appraisal comes in at $500,000. Well, this gap here, the sellers are looking for buyers who are willing to pay cash above this appraisal amount because this is the only amount that the lender will lend on you, and this is cash out of pocket. So you don't have to worry about that. However, you do need to look, most builders structure their contracts that say you are responsible for that gap if the home is appraised low. However, I've never seen a new build appraised low. In fact, a lot of times by the time you get to the closing table, you're actually sitting on some equity because that value's gone up while the home is being built. Number three, there's no waiving inspections to get your offer to stand out. Most builders are third-party inspection friendly, which means you can get your new build inspected even after closing because it's under warranty. And I put this on there because there's so many people who are waiving all inspections to get into a home. So you can still have the property inspected, and that is a big deal. Number four, the builder may have incentives that pay for your closing cost. I've seen incentives anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000. It just depends on what the builder is offering at that time. Number 5, everything is brand new. It's so nice to have all your flooring, everything in your kitchen, everything is brand new. It's just so nice. Number 6, the house is under warranty. Almost every builder offers a pretty substantial warranty, and this means you shouldn't have to replace any large items for many years. Number 7 is energy efficiency. Builders have done a really good job lately with HERS rating and making their properties sealed up very well, which makes them very inexpensive to heat and cool. Now there are your pros and cons lists. I also included some questions to things to look out for and questions to ask the builder. How much incentives is the builder offering? And then compare that to other builders. You know, like I say, some builders have 2,000, some have 10,000, and those incentives can go towards your closing cost, but only if you use their preferred lender. So the next question is their lender good? I will say over the past just couple years, the builder lenders have gotten much better. They used to not have the best reputation to work with, but lately they've been really good, and you can get all your closing costs paid for. But get that information, make sure you're signing up for a good lender. Number 2, how much does it cost to lock in your interest rate? And I put this in here, even though this isn't the builder, this is the lender, but make sure that that lender is communicating with the builder so they know when your completion date is, so that your interest rate is locked in. And just make sure you are communicating with the lender to make sure your interest rate is in a good position that benefits you. Number 3, is there any undeveloped property around your new build? Now, this is definitely something to look out for, especially even if it's a big neighborhood. What's right outside of that? Is that commercial property? Are they going to build affordable housing or $1 million plus homes or a motocross track? Now, none of this is a perfect science, but just do your best to do your due diligence. Sometimes the builder already knows. Number 4, what are the taxes going to be? So the builder's not going to have that information, but again, if you're using a real estate agent, they can pull some comps in the area and see what similar priced houses are paying on their taxes the last couple of years. Although yours may be a little more higher, at least you'll have an idea of what those are. Number 5, be sure to ask them what is not included. Like the finished basement, that could be $30,000 to $45,000 just depending on the size of the house. This other stuff we touched on too, lot premiums, sometimes air conditioning is not included, landscaping, fencing, blinds, all that stuff. You'll need to know what is not included, so you'll get that in writing from the builder right away. Because honestly, when you go and meet a builder, they're not going to say, hi, we don't include landscaping or fencing. They're going to say, this is all the stuff we do include. So sometimes you kind of have to pull that information out of them. Number 6, ask them what upgrades in the model home are not included in the standard home. Now, these can usually include cabinets, countertops, sinks, and lighting, even flooring. So I've had clients go to the model home and absolutely fall in love with it. And then we, quickly realize that, well, the house that we're looking at on paper has none of this stuff. So just make sure that you're not signing up for, flashlights hanging from the ceiling and plywood countertops. It probably wouldn't be that bad, but just make sure you understand that the model home is the nicest home that they have to sell. Number 7, when discussing anything with the builder, especially custom builders, make sure you get everything in writing. So I've even actually learned this the hard way. I have sat in front of a custom builder while he tells me and my clients all this stuff that's included. And then 6 months later, he magically forgets all of the stuff that he included, so we're having to backtrack. So this is actually where you can have a real estate agent. If you're working with one, this is a good idea why to work with one. Have them go to every single one of the meetings, take notes, and then especially if there's any big changes, any additions, and email everybody that evening a recap of what was discussed so you have it in writing. Now, I have been told from some buyers that I do not need a real estate agent because I'm doing a new build. So there's always the question, do you need a real estate agent to help you purchase a new build? Toward that, I would say after watching this video, was it helpful? If it was, then yes, there's no reason you shouldn't have a knowledgeable real estate agent help you through this process. It doesn't cost you anything. In fact, real estate agents are even paid out of a different account that is separate from your home. So if you have a good real estate agent who has a fiduciary responsibility to you, then it's a great idea to have one to help you through this process, especially if they already know the builders in your area. I'm a real estate agent here in the Colorado Springs area, and I love working with new builds, and I would love to help you find a home that fits you and your family the best. So if you have any questions, feel free to call or email me anytime. I work 7 days a week, and thanks so much for watching.